Hey there, everybody. It is First Monday Metaphysical Chat in November. We are going to have so much fun tonight. I hope you guys are ready because I'm going to shut myself up. Oh, that wasn't fun. Right. Hey, and there is Dave joining me, so I'm going to bring Dave up. We're going to have a ball tonight. Hey, Dave.
Hey there, Yar.
Great to see you.
Good to see you. Sorry, we got a little nervous with the links.
Yeah, I swear I sent it, but it was last night after 11 hours, so.
I know. Running this stuff, it looks so much easier than it really is.
Yeah, so right. So how are you tonight?
I am really good. How about you?
A little tired.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, shoot. I'm going to put on the comments here. Well, it looks like I cannot join and I can't have it on my channel. Do you know if I can?
Oh, you mean to stream it?
Yeah. Looks like I can't.
Well, I don't have it set that way, but
don't worry about it. I was just curious.
Yeah.
If you can, that'd be awesome, but no worries.
I've never done that, so I'm not sure about it, but I'll see if I can find it.
See if you can find it, and if not, that's just fine. So, great show yesterday. I'm impressed that you did so well. You're standing. Among other things.
Wild.
Yeah.
What was that?
You're standing, among other things, which is amazing. You're still here.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing more
I was up late last night doing the timestamps because I wanted to get them in place as soon as possible so that people would have to go and find the parts they wanted to. But what really touched me so deeply, there were two people kind of in the middle, Elena and Miche, who have very small followings. And this was pushing them out of their comfort zone. And the audience responded to them so beautifully. It was so delightful.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, in the beginning, we all had very small viewerships, me included. Okay. There's nowhere to go but up. And it usually works out just fine. So by all means, if you're thinking of your channel, I only have a few viewerships, it really is not the biggest deal in the world. Universe sees what you're doing, and it always works out really well. And I thought your show was great.
Thank you.
We really, these are our last moves, right? These are the last things that we could do. We've convinced everybody we can convince. Right now,
I'm going to grab that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's just right now. It's just about prayers.
Yes, absolutely. And now
I might say it's just about connecting to the light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Craig, show up for a past life regression. I really love them. I think they are brilliant things to achieve. And if you guys haven't taken a look, if you look at my channel, you can see Deborah in her past life regression talking about this election. And Deborah was channeling Cassandra. And what I found really beautiful about it and remarkable about it was it just got confirmed soon thereafter. The importance of this election really hit home. Take a look. You could probably get it through Deborah's channel, but also it's the second to last video where we really kind of focused on this battle, which turns out to be very much one about the dark and the light. Deborah channeled some great advice, which is, don't go to anger, go to love. That will conquer everything. So it's really, really well said. And by chance, somebody sent me a link to Bashar, and I'm not allowed to look. I try not to look at other people's future predictions because then I don't know if I'm hijacking them. So I try not to know anybody's show. So I told her, look, I can't look at that. It'll ruin my predicting power. And so she summarized, and she basically said exactly what Deborah said. This is a battle for the dark and the light. And when we say battle, I don't want this to evoke, words of anger. I hope it evokes connection to the light. Yeah.
And the links for those 2 videos are in the description for the video we're on right now, and later I'll put it in the pinned comment, so it's available.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just gave you the donation link and pinned it for the Harris Waltz campaign. I know it might feel like it's too late. It is not too late, because here's what I was trying to tell you guys last night, and I don't think I did a good enough job, because this is life or death. I want you to think about how much you love certain people out there. Like, let's say Linda G, because I know a lot of this audience is a faithful followers of Linda G. How would you feel if the wrong person gets elected and she gets killed? Because we're not kidding about this. It is deadly serious. You want Dave and I mean, Dave is probably safe because he's in a different country, but who knows? It could go there.
It really could go there. Right.
You want me dead? You know, I've had people say to me, it doesn't matter who wins. And I'm like, you got to be effing kidding me.
Yeah, you got to be kidding.
Care whether I live or die?
Yeah, it really will be. It really will be dangerous for journalists if Trump wins. There is not much to stop him from doing whatever he wants.
Yeah.
We know the Supreme Court will always be on his side. So it is a serious business that we are dealing with. And it just could be anyone. I mean, not just us. It could be anyone who says the wrong thing. You would just get doxxed, and who knows what would happen.
Yeah. Well, and we stuck our necks out because we believe in this cause and we're trying to make a difference. But guess what? Our families didn't. And they'll take your families too.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And I mentioned Linda G because she's been so out there for so long. She would probably be at the top of the list.
Yeah. I do feel very safe here in Australia.
Yeah.
But maybe we should go direct to prayers. What do you think?
I think that is a great idea. Let's see how many. We only have 26 people here. Maybe we'll tap dance for a few more minutes. So tell us what's going on with your channel, because you said you're going in a different direction.
Well, yes and no. Political predicting is really a labor of love. I really do it because I've got a lot invested in this, and also because I know a lot of people have got a lot investing in this. It really does help people and keep them calm when you predict things and let them know that it's going to be okay. I find that it's very, very easy for people to, if they're well, I mean, if Trump loses, I will likely stop doing political videos. That was the sole purpose of me doing those political videos. And I will, there's going to still be a process of him going to jail, etc., that I think I'll be present on. But at the same time, it's just really tough to do politics. It's stressful. It means that I have to watch politics all day so I know what I'm referring to, which, puts you in that downward, terrible spiral of news upon news upon news upon news. And it puts you really in a very difficult state of fear. And it's hard to channel when you're in that place. You just, it's so stressful. It's so horrible. You just get to a point where, your channeling is affected. Now, I could still do it, but it's almost like I need 2 days to recover because that energy is a really strong and lower base sort of energy. And I can see why there's a lot of channelers who will not touch politics. It's just so heavy, and it really does affect you. So by all means, I'm going to really reduce my work in the political realm when Trump loses. And I'll just tell everybody, it looks like he's losing. I mean, we all already predicted this 6 months ago. And everyone has predicted this, everyone in the circle of readers that people watch. And, he really is losing. And there are some dangers around after losing. But we will be free. We will be free to move on to new subjects to talk about. And I'm much more interested in the things that Debbra was channeling in her past life regression with me. Really, we got some great words of wisdom out of this. And
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that a lot. The great thing about doing a past life regression, it's like Debra's channeling and I'm channeling at the same time. I have a script, which I just kind of throw away most of the time because you really are just sort of on the edge of creation there and sort of listening to spirit. And then your client who's maybe never channeled before is channeling, and there they are just at the same time. And it's really almost like riding this terrific wave. This is much more interesting to me and much more interesting to clients, I think, because it's great to see yourself channeling perhaps for the first time. And it's much more interesting to me. The other thing that I like to do is teach people how to channel. One day all of us will just be channeling. You won't need a reader unless you want a reader, because you'll be channeling yourself, your own guides. Everybody is capable of this, and if you want to learn it, you can. It's just a question of the desire, right? I see that Craig is saying the political stuff made me ill. Yes, it is. It's making us ill. So, hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to move on. Although I'm afraid I do feel like it's going to be a very nervous time for us. There's a lot of things that are going to go around election.
Yeah, I believe we're going to have that blue tsunami. I've been hearing that so strongly for weeks. The trick is the machinations in the days after. That's where we've got to really be careful and walk on that tightrope there, which is why I'm saying to everybody, this is your last chance energetically to make your statement of which side you're on by making that contribution. And really just $3 is all you need to make that contribution, to put your name on the list, to say, yes, I'm standing on the blue side, because we need all of that energy to carry us forward. And guess what? If we get enough electoral votes tomorrow night, that's going to neutralize some of those nefarious plans. This is why it's so important. So now I'll shut up about that. But, I used to do politics, Dave. My job is to be the messenger, to deliver the spiritually uplifting expansion messages. So I only diverged from that when the angels gave me the assignment of doing those events and fundraising. So I had to dabble with it. But yeah, it's not where I want to be. It doesn't feel so good for me either. And I'm really looking forward to getting back to the spiritual stuff.
Yeah. Well, I also found it amazing because people like Bashar never give predictions about the election, ever. I have never seen him do a single prediction. But a few days ago, he did make one, and he didn't say who would win, but essentially he said, man wins World War III, woman wins alien contact. Mm-hmm. I was stunned because a lot of channelers, that again, they don't touch the stuff, and it's for good reason. They don't really want to, they don't want to get involved in the nitty-gritty of this stuff, and I can see why. And some of them do feel like you don't want to engage in this sort of cycle of back and forth. I don't totally agree. I mean, that's fine for them, but I think that we have to make sure that we're able to make this show before we can move on. If we live in a society where YouTube is going to be controlled, we won't be able to make these shows anymore. And that is a very real possibility if Trump were to win. So I have predicted for a long time that people don't really want that. People really do want freedoms. And I think that's what we're going to get tomorrow.
They do, but I think a lot of them are in this fugue state, and they're not seeing reality.
Yes.
So hopefully they're going to start waking up. I'm really gratified to see that a lot of people are starting to wake up in these last few weeks. That is wonderfully reassuring about humanity.
Yeah.
So let's hope that energy continues on.
Right. Well,
so we have 41 people now. Do you want to step into the prayer now? Yeah. So you guys wanted to be a part of the whole prayer-a-thon concept. So that's why he's here tonight. And he's brought us a special prayer. So Dave, I'm going to put you front and center. You go right ahead.
Okay. Thanks very much. Now, for all of you, we could call this prayer but we might just call it connecting with the light. Sometimes I don't necessarily like the term prayer because it's like you're asking somebody for something. We're not necessarily begging or asking. We're just connecting. Maybe we could even say we're going to let the light know we are ready. We're ready for the new earth. So I'm just going to go quickly through a process where all of us can collectively together ask for light. So first thing I like to do, and I'm going to recommend that you do this yourself, is just imagine there's a pyramid above your head. This is going to help us connect safely to spirit. Imagine the pyramid over your head, big enough to fit your whole body, and I'd like you to put something that looks like love in there. So think about something someone did for you that's very loving. And especially if the person has gone to the other side, it's extremely helpful. Now you can do both. Think of someone who's loved you, put it in the pyramid, and just think of that love. Notice, what color is your pyramid? Does your pyramid change color when you put love in there? Just note the color, because I think it's very interesting. I think it has something to do with chakras. There are no bad colors, but notice. So now you got your pyramid over your head. Put it around you so you are protected. One other thing you can do, think of someone who's loved you, who has passed on to the other side, and ask them to join you in the pyramid, right? See yourself in the pyramid, see the loved one, and that could be a family member or a school teacher or anyone. See them right next to you. They might be on your right, left. Notice, now ready to go. And now just sort of put anything extra that's distracting you, roots, just put it into the earth, right? So that way we will be both present here on the earth as we're moving forward to channel. Now, see yourself. Now, remember, you're in your pyramid, and see if you can find an entrance. This is a doorway into spirit. And ask for that entrance to be showed before you. When you see that entrance, before you walk through, make sure it feels good in your heart. You don't want a fake entrance. And if it just feels okay or it's not good, just say no thank you and push that entrance aside. It's just a little trick. Sometimes we get that to teach us how to follow our hearts. Here is a new entrance, perhaps. Check in your heart. Does it feel okay? If it feels good, go through. Once you get through, notice what you see on the other side. Do you see a garden? Are you in outer space? Just notice, because this is a place you might visit in the future. Now, as we move through this space in our pyramids, remember we're totally protected and we're attached to the earth. Let's go ahead and float in the direction of the light. You might see yourself getting higher and higher and higher. You might see some steps, go walk up them, and then there might be a landing, and then there's more steps. Walk in your own pace. Now, something's showing up for me, and we might have different guides. We might have the same guides. The idea here is we're all going to do this at the same time. And our sort of mission, our requests, our light is connecting better because we're going to do this together. We connect our light to their light. That is the light out in space that we come from. And feel that connection. Good. And now I'm seeing lots and lots of orbs. It feels to me like all of your guides have arrived here and they're just waiting for you. All right, now if you've watched my videos with Deborah, you can see what she has said. The light is always there. It's just a question of asking. So go ahead and ask. Ask for the light to come to you. And it may take just the form of light. It might take the form of a figure. It might show up as a person or an angel or something, or it might just be the light. And as we are getting closer and closer, just ask in your own way, out loud, or in your mind, just ask that we are connected to the light. And as we're connecting to the light, see a good future. See a future where people are peacefully voting. See a future where people are peacefully accepting the vote. And don't go to anger or hate here in any way. Don't ask for someone to be punished. Just go to the light. And I'd like you to envision the outcome that you want. And not just a vision of winning an election, but a vision of a brighter place, a happier place, a peaceful place. And really see this as your vision. It's sort of like we're sending a letter, although it's very direct and fast, to the light. Take your time. See the people voting. See the people peaceful and happy. See the world, the America, perhaps, that you want to live in. Now, here's the fun part. Do you see something? Do you see spirit? Is there an actual figure in front of you? They may just be showing you a glimpse for the first time. Show them again the world that you'd like to live in. Feel again the connection to the light out in space. Feel it really from your heart, from your whole body. As you sit where you are sitting, connect with that faraway light. In some ways, the political times that we live in are actually good because they are helping us, moving us to make these kind of connections. All right, I'm envisioning a happier United States, a happier planet. I'm envisioning people with more freedom. I'm envisioning people also who are able to speak to one another with kindness and generosity, even those they don't agree with. Feel the connection expand. Feel yourself expand. And notice what you see. This is very nice. I can feel all of you doing this together with me. And all of you doing this together with Deborah. All right, we're going to ask one last time. Light, can you hear us? We want to feel your connection. We are ready for a better planet. Ready for betterment of ourselves too. One thing that's useful to notice here as we connect to the light, notice how you've changed. Notice how you have evolved. There are some good things that are happening now. Don't hesitate to notice them. And it's very important to notice them with yourself. Have you become a kinder person? Have you become more active? Have you become more connected? Have you become more assertive? Notice the good things that you have done in this regard. All of that is the light. One more thing. Imagine for spirit a helpful leader who represents the things that you'd like in a leader. For myself, I am seeing Abraham Lincoln and Gandhi. You can picture those characters or any characters you wish who you feel are truly embody the evolution towards a brighter world. Yeah, I feel like they will all be on our side tomorrow as we go to the polls. Once more, because it's very important, see the aftermath of this election and see it as a peaceful one. Go to those that you think might be not so righteous, who might make you a bit nervous. And send your love to them too. You might think of those who are perhaps on another path, perhaps on a shadowy path, and just send them the love right now that they might need, regardless of whoever they vote for. All right. So I think we've made our mark here. Let's thank Spirit for listening to our connective words. And now it's time to come back to the normal reality. You can say, see you soon to the spirit you've met, or see you soon to the light. There's no need to say goodbye because you're going to be back again. And you might say that. I'll be visiting you again, light, spirit. But move now down the line a bit, perhaps to the stairs, perhaps to the entrance that you came in, and come back out. And as you come back out, say thank you to the ancestor or friend or whoever is on the other side for their help. And now lift up that pyramid and let that character go back to their business. So, how do you feel? It's important to notice how you feel. See if it's better. See if it's different. Notice today if things happen different. Notice today if Spirit sends you a little message. All right. So, are we ready, Deborah? I'm afraid I can't hear you now.
That was so amazing. Thank you.
Oh, great. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah. That connection that I've done, really, it just came to me from Spirit. I was just working with a client one day, and I told, just do this, show them how. I had no idea what I was doing, but that's what's really enjoyable about Deborah and my job. You don't, every day is different. The Spirit will take you into totally new places.
Yes, I turned into a dragonfly and flew out under the light of the moon. It was so beautiful. I've never had that experience before.
Wow, tell us more. What else happened?
I felt like a fairy because, dragonflies are a little like fairies. So I felt like a cross between the two. And then I went up and it was just delicious, delightful. I got a visual of Kamala and I saw 330 flashing over her head. And it's like, can that really be true? Could she get 330 electoral votes? Because, whoa, if that happened, that's a game changer.
Wow, it sure is.
True. And then when you said we should look for someone facilitating for the future, I saw Jimmy Carter.
Wow.
Which was a surprise because he's still alive as far as I know.
Yeah, he's still alive.
He's teetering. So apparently he wants to help us with the future, which is so wonderful. If we could get that love.
Yeah. What a peaceful person he was. Yeah. I think he had some very bad luck as president, but what a peaceful person. Now, did you get to an entrance?
Oh, all that happened after the entrance. Yeah. I went up out of the top of the pyramid. That was my door.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm looking at bright landscape, looking at Craig's autumn orange. Good.
Beautiful.
Yeah, good for you guys. So look, everything's going really, really well. I believe that we have learned so much from this period of time and learned so much about Spirit. Even though this has been really, really difficult, and I hear your pain out there. It's really, really a tough time because there's so much worry around this. But I think that we've slain this dragon, and it's just a question of our finding out. And we'll be celebrating tomorrow.
So I just saw. Where did it go? Mary Lynn talking about being a poll worker in Wisconsin. Oh, please, we're sending lots of love to you, Mary Lynn, because it's tough being a poll worker right now. We recognize that. So we're just surrounding you with light and love.
Yeah. Good job. Because it won't hurt to send light and love to those poll workers. This has got to be a really, really stressful job, right?
I can't imagine the bravery to do that after, Shay and Ruby, what they went through.
Yeah. After all
many others that we don't know about.
Yeah. Now, one thing I think is very interesting too is a month ago when I was predicting a Kamala win, and 3 months ago, I don't think we had any idea that it would be Kamala. So I kept seeing Biden, but it was very, very strange. And I was like, he's going to win, but I don't know. A lot of us had a feeling that Biden would go. I did not read on that particular person because I was afraid that Biden wouldn't pass. And I did not want to predict his passing. Generally speaking, I don't want to predict people's deaths. The only exception would be in political terms. So I kind of avoided that. We didn't know what would happen, but everyone, all viewers, all readers, I should say, were really anticipating that Trump would lose. And it's amazing in the last month, it's like almost gifted to us. Trump would just, make one gaffe after another. After, at one point, it looks like he used his diaper during his speech, and it was audible. I mean, and then he, of course, he insulted, all these different minorities. Pretty shocking that he would get away with doing that. But these people, they get around in their little circles of egotistical guys and making their, sort of locker room jokes. And they think that everybody's like that. So the comedian goes on and says absolutely the right thing. This is spirit direct. It is their own downfall, but it is kind of the way spirit does get involved is just allow people to behave in a particular way, and there it is. It was kind of perfect timing, all of these events. But I think the polls are completely wrong. I think that they're going historical polls where women vote half the time and men vote half the time. I think this time around it's going to be like 80% is going to be women voting. It's not a prediction, but a huge percentage of women are going to have voted. And I think a large percentage of women have, even the Republican side, have finally become completely disgusted. And Roe v. Wade has been a big decision too for us.
It has. I do not understand the women who aren't concerned about giving up all of their rights. So I'm just praying that 3:30 is that huge wave of women who are going to come out and help push Kamala over the edge, because we need to come back to humanity and sensibility.
Yes, we do. And, there's been great changes in our society recently. Just the fact that we would be able to have this on the internet is completely different than the way things were a few years ago. And it has caused a real shift in journalism, for example. I just noticed that people are really interested in, what's happening now, what's happening now, what's happening now. There isn't the same long-term consideration, same experts that we would normally watch. There are people who grab attention, and that has really rocked everything about our democracy. In our democracy, if we can't sit here and have a conversation with someone we disagree with and come out with some kind of compromise, well, it's not really democracy. It's just shock after shock after shock. And, I'm looking forward to the days after Kamala's election when we will be able to approach some of these problems. I mean, Elon Musk should not have the power to decide who is our president. He is currently doing things that are at the very least undemocratic and maybe illegal. So we're going to have a lot of work to do when Kamala gets elected. But I appreciate that she's from a legal background. She'll be able to harness some of the energy and make some of these changes. So I'm curious though, Deborah, when did this call happen for you?
Which call?
You said you were called. make the prayer-a-thon, etc.
Oh, when Biden announced he was stepping down, that night, the angels were working on me. I woke up in the morning with this. They only told me about phase 1 at that point. I didn't know about the rest, or I would have probably said no. And they gave me this whole thing, and I'm like, what are you, crazy? I know nothing about fundraising. I know nothing about putting on this kind of an event. I don't even have the contacts. But Helen decided that she wanted to help me, thank goodness. So she was my co-host for the psychathons, and she helped make the connections. Everything came together. I won't lie, it was pretty hellish because it took so much effort behind the scenes, and pretty much for 3 months I've done very little work. This was like full-on focus. And I told them, you know what? You better bring me through this thing in a place where I've got a platform and I can still deliver the messages and do what I need to do, or I'm going to retire.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Because, honestly and truly, that prayer-a-thon was so amazing yesterday. But then I look at the stats and I see I got 30 subscribers for those 11 hours and that whole month of work. And I'm wondering, is this really what you're going to do? Where are we going with this thing? And for the viewers, they don't get this, but we're doing this for free. We're not getting paid to do this. If I get $20 a month from YouTube, that's a good month. Yeah. So all the work to produce these things, whatever research we do, etc., it's all free from us and takes us away from doing other things we could do, like living life, going on vacation, maybe doing fun things. Yeah. So there's a lot of reconnoitering to come, because I did what they asked. So now it's their turn to step up. We'll see where that goes.
I'm sure they will step up, not to worry. And these things work in mysterious ways. It is really just channels change overnight for fairly surprising reasons, I think. So don't worry too much. It will work out. I really feel like you did do what Spirit asked you to do. And
we did. And they did step up. I mean, they supplied for me all along the way how to do it. And it's like, oh, this person and that person. And I'm thinking, oh, and you want music and these people who do music, and they just kept filling in the gaps a step at a time. So they did all of that. Yeah. But, beyond just growing my channel, it was my big disappointment was that not more people stepped up and contributed, because like I said, just $3. And we have right now, I think 338 donators after 3 events. And it's like, how are the people not getting the message about why this is so important? Where did I not fill that in for them? Do they not think they've got to take the action? Because the whole thing about manifesting, you do the happiness, the feeling good, the dreaming it up. But if you don't take the action, as the Bible says, faith without works is dead.
Yes.
That action is so important.
I think that I wouldn't worry too much about the number so much. The energy of what you're doing is what's important. And Spirit notices, even if their money isn't flowing, Spirit notices. And it does make that energetic difference. And that may just be what was required and nothing more. That just a few people got together today and sent a message to the light. That does make a difference, just as it makes a difference when one person is doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, Deborah, to pat yourself in the back for doing a great job and to not worry about the rest and let Spirit take care of it. It won't happen overnight. It'll happen over time. And one day you will wake up and go, oh yeah, that's why it all happened. That's why it all got started. So look, don't worry about numbers, and that goes for everybody. Do the good works, and they will work out just fine. We also know that many people have done great works for a long time. It took them a long time for anyone to get noticed.
Yeah, well, Jimmy Carter's a great example of that, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yes, he is a great example. Maybe it took him 100 years, but when we all look back, we will look back fondly at Carter. You cannot say that about many presidents.
Yeah. Well, some people recognize that about him, that he was special.
Yes.
But I think history will treat him kindly once we stop screwing around with the history books and get that all straightened out.
Right. Start telling the truth. That's another reason to vote the right way, so you can read history the way that it was.
Yeah.
It actually took place.
Well, history was never actually all true. They always say the victors get to write the history books. And
yeah,
when I think about what America did to the Native Americans, it's just heartbreaking, and it's still going on.
Yes, it
so
is still
somewhere along the line, we need to balance that out. That's a debt. And the veterans, when you sign up to be in the military, we make a contract with you that we will take care of you if you come and put your life on the line for us. And we have broken those contracts so many times. So my vision for America is we get that right with people. We honor our contracts because it's so important. How can we expect countries to respect us and deal with us in a good way when we're not doing the same? There's integrity that needs to be brought up.
Yeah. Well, for a while we were competing with Russia, right? And so we had this whole moral thing about how we were better. Once Russia no longer existed, the Soviet Union wasn't there anymore. Bush didn't really care. He didn't care about the reputation. We were the only game in town. And I think that is where America really strayed, is where we gave up on the truth or gave up on any ethics, really, and just went where the energy was. And the energy was in this, violence. So obviously 9/11 had everything to do with that. So it wasn't just one-sided. But I'm from San Francisco. You get on the bus, there's a crazy person. You either engage with the crazy person or you move on. And then you just watch as some other crazy person finds the crazy person and they're just going all crazy together, right? That is sort of what happened with the United States. We were antagonized into pointless and endless wars. And we're still dealing with that sort of lack of truth.
Well, I just got the flash of the Daisy girl from the Vietnam era, the Kent State Daisy girl, and talking about, flowers in the cannons. Let's use love and not bombs and weapons. It's been going on for a long time, and we really need to come out of that, to come to that higher spiritual awareness, which we are. So now we need to apply it to the way that we interact with people in our country and the world. And it really, the crux of it that I've been getting in the messages for a really long time, it's about coming to terms with seeing every single person as a divine soul, perfect just as you are. Stop looking at the skin suit, deal with the soul, and that will change everything.
Yes. Good. And what practices do you do to enhance that, to work with the soul?
Well, I get those messages a lot, so it keeps me kind of front of mind. But, like Trump, I don't want to send anything good to him, but the angels told me a couple of months ago, we need to send him love and light. So we did that on one of these calls. Even though it makes my stomach turn to do it, I've got to get over that, because he is a divine, perfect soul, no matter how bad he seems on this level. And karma will take care of the rest. We don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge. We're humans and we're dealing with it as best we can.
Right. It's not easy just to trust spirits, right? And I think that there is something to be said for compelling us all to become much more engaged in our political system. We should have been protesting when Al Gore was denied his presidency.
Yes.
We should have been in the streets on that day. Right. And my problem with the Democratic Party is that they aren't fighters. They tend to give up and they tend to go, well, that's the way it is. But, we have all shown that when the crisis arose, we have come to address it, and in a peaceful way. That is very, very important.
Yeah, and it goes back even beyond that, denying children lunches.
Yeah.
That's like Scrooge or something. Who are
Yeah.
we?
Yeah. Yes. Who are we as a people? So, yeah, I'm glad to see that things have really changed, and it will be amazing tomorrow when you see how many people, especially women, show up and do their thing. Because I think it's really going to send the message to the GOP about what our priorities are and who's voting, and they will potentially get the message that they need to change too. And maybe we'll get a little bit more bipartisanship in the future. I'm not necessarily counting on it, but there are going to be difficult days, after Kamala's elected. But at least we will be moving forward in that direction. It might take some time. We're going to have to deal with some Supreme Court people that are really corrupt, and it may take some time. But I think this is a great first step. And don't forget that the light is really shown on most of us. The light is really starting to connect with a lot of people out there who didn't necessarily even consider themselves spiritual people, and they have become that. And now they're doing amazing things that they wouldn't have done before, like Reiki or prayathons or past life regressions. All of these things are moving us towards the light and the new earth.
Yeah, it's all a cumulative thing, and it is very hopeful. And one of the things I notice when I do my soul introduction readings, in the records, I can measure what your vibrational frequency is, which I don't usually share with people because that gets their ego all involved. But what I've seen over a period of time is how it's moving up, which is so exciting and life affirming. I'm watching them where in past lives we might have gone up 1 or 2/10 of a point in a whole lifetime. Now people are jumping up 5, 6, 7, 8 points, and they're not even done yet.
Yeah.
So we're going up the scale from the lower 5s, which most of us came, to now the low 6s. And some are starting to move up in the 6s. That's mind-blowing, phenomenal, and how is that going to change the world? That's exciting.
Yes, it is exciting. Let me tell you, 10 years ago, I did not believe that I could channel, nor did I have any inclination to do any kind of psychic work. I did not want to do it. I was sort of pushed into it. And right around the time of the 2016 election, that's when I started to go, maybe I should make a video about this. Right? But I didn't necessarily, I've been doing shamanism for many years. But I didn't think I would have a YouTube channel until maybe 3 days before I actually made it. And that's when things got started. And I'm so glad that I did. But I'll tell you, all of you out there, you didn't anticipate this. You'll notice you've really changed leaps and bounds.
Yeah, I didn't believe in reincarnation 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That's a huge leap to go from not believing in it to going in the records and, eyeball deep.
Yeah.
So they bring us along as we're ready, bit by bit.
And
that's what I'm seeing with the people.
Well, Deborah, on that note, I might ask you at some point to go take a look at my Akashic record.
I would love to. Yes.
Well, hey, how does that process work?
Going into the records, it's just like what you do with your pyramid. You get into a relaxed state of mind. I do a special little prayer and ask for access to that person's Akashic records, because you have to ask. You don't want to just go diving in there. And it's a very sacred, reverent process. Go into the records, and the experience itself can vary greatly. Sometimes you go in and you're immediately met by people and shown things. Other times you just kind of go in and wander around and interact with nature or creatures I've gone in sometimes and they're putting on a circus. You just never know. But what they'll do is they will bring symbols and metaphors to convey the message, because they don't tell you a lot of things just outright. That's the tricky thing about it, that's the spiritual thing, which is very different from, if you guys saw the Halloween special I did with Helen, Irish Granny, we went looking for Edgar Allan Poe and Jack the Ripper to have a conversation. And oh my, what did we learn? And so those rules about going to the records and what you can and can't get are very different, because that's mediumship, right? So you're conveying information and sharing with that spirit. We solved the Ripper case. He gave us his identity.
Wow. Tell me, who is it?
Well, you got to go watch Granny's video. I don't want to rob her of that.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Yeah, I will. I noticed it and I was curious, but I was very busy. So
And
I will
we
take a
also
look
got
at it.
both men. We got the real story on their life of what made them who they were. And it was nothing I would have ever guessed. And then we also talked with Lincoln. And at one point she asked questions of Churchill. So it was really, for a Halloween special, it was fabulous.
Okay.
So that's a fun kind of thing to do, and very different from the experience of going to the records. Now, when you go to the records, and you can do this, you can use your process, ask for access to your records, go in, and just be open to whatever you get. Now, you can ask for things specifically, but it's really fun just to go and have the experience. So one time I went in, and there's this big Cyclops who met me. And we went on this adventure together. He put me on his shoulder, and we went cross country. We arrived at this big chasm that had a little footbridge across it. So I'm looking at the bridge, and I'm looking up at Cyclops and wondering, what are we going to do here? Because he's not going to fit on that bridge. He shrunk down to my size.
Oh.
And I'm like, you can do that? And he says, well, you didn't know? No, nobody told me. And so we cross the footbridge. We go up this little hill to this peak of a mountain, and there's a little tiny cabin. It's the Dalai Lama's house. We go in, and he makes tea for us. Then we all sit together in this little circle, and he gives us a profound message, and then sends us on our way. And we walk out the door, and I'm so puzzled, because this was when I was pretty new to this thing, and I didn't understand how it all works yet. And the Cyclops is wondering, what's my problem? And I said, what was he trying to tell us? He says, you didn't get it. He was giving us a profound message about the future. No, he says, oh, you'll get it. And then he turned into a bird and flew away. So
intriguing.
What experiences might you have when you go into your records? Who knows? I go to outer space a lot. They take me out that way quite often.
Yeah. And when you bring to outer space, is that a particular kind of record or process?
No, it's like you're seeing a movie. It's like you go to the movies when you go to the records. Now, there was a time when I went in and I saw the big library. And it was so old-fashioned, they had card catalogs. And over time, card catalogs went away and they got a help desk with a computer.
Yeah.
So they like to have fun with you. So they'll meet you where you are, and they will help you to expand. So the most important thing is just do it regularly, practice.
Yes. Yeah. And they do like to have fun. They like to have a joke with you. When you're laughing, you're really close to spirit.
Yeah.
Especially if you're laughing together with others and not at someone. But when you're truly in that place, of joy, you are very close to spirit, and they will make hilarious jokes with you.
Yeah. Go in on your birthday and see what happens. The first time I went on my birthday, I come in, they're already having a party, and they talked to me for a little bit and then kind of sent me on my way. And I'm like, well, it's my birthday party. Shouldn't I be here? Oh, no, they don't need you. They are celebrating that on your birthday every year, they close one archive and start the next.
How fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So I'll tell you, gosh, it's so long ago, 35 years ago, I, by chance, was in a class with a person who was channeling. I didn't know what that was. And she said on the last day class, come on over. Me and a couple of people went over. And I was absolutely floored by what these people were able to tell me about my own life. And there were jokes after jokes after jokes, like where they were teasing me using my own expressions. And I mean, me and the other two people, and all of us were as like kind of regular people as you could be. One of them was the assistant wrestling coach. So I went home and my head was in the clouds. Like I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that people would be able to tell me these details of my life. And my head's in the clouds. I get home. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. And I open the door under my sink. And guess what fell out from the trash? Boom, right in front of me. A Seth book.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't even know who Seth was. And even universe was like hitting me over the head. You're going to be a channeler. You're going to be a channeler. I didn't believe that. I was like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. Right. So for all of you guys who are starting small, it just evolves the way that it does. And you might think of your contribution as being a small one, but they're all really big. Every day you go through your life, do kind things to people. It makes a huge difference, even if nobody's giving you an audience. And in some ways, it's the best way. In some ways, doing the right thing somewhat anonymously, it feels better.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did you find the Seth book? Did you read it?
I did. I read it cover to cover.
Okay. Because I find it very dry.
It is pretty dry. It's very technical. I had never read anything like that. So I did read it cover to cover. I was and am a big reader. I swear to God, there were pages in there that were written just for me. And they would say, we don't know why he said this. And I was like, what? But yeah, it can be a bit dry. But again, it was my first one. I'm very fond of there's people who channel the One. But that is, again, very dry, very intense, very heavy material. I think, Deborah, what you and I have done is we're trying to channel for things that are happening to us really presently.
Yes.
I think that other channels are doing something different, and that's fine. But we are very interested in what's happening for humans right now here. How can we help people now? And I think that there's a really important role for that. And when I speak to people, when I get clients, they all tell me, look, I really needed to calm down, and that's why I watched your videos. I really needed to know that there is a reason for these things that are happening, and part of that reason is that we're all evolving. We're all learning amazing things at this time because, difficult things bring great learning.
Yeah, and if you're having a rough time, if you're feeling depressed or blocked or any of those negative things that are just, making you be in the dumps, going into the records is like the best remedy for that, because they will put on such a show to help you shift your energy. And the thing is, when you're in the records, you're really there. You're not making this up. Your soul is there. That's as real as we are here right now. In fact, I think it's more real. Mm-hmm. So when you go and you have that experience, you are changed when you come back. You can't be. So you keep going. You keep getting more and more. I mean, 1 year for my birthday, Jesus came in a tuxedo and I'm in a ball gown and we waltzed together. It was so amazing. I would have never expected that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, happy birthday to me. That's fabulous.
It is fabulous. I never expected Jesus. I was not raised at all in a religious household. I was very agnostic, and I practiced shamanism for 30 years, very much more interested in those kinds of, beings, let's just say, because we are still talking about beings. I don't have anything against Christianity, but I did notice that some of his followers weren't living up to his name. So I was quite surprised one day when Jesus showed up as I was channeling. I'm not just surprised, but really moved. And as I say this, Jesus, Confucius, you know, medicine women from Native America, from North America, all of these things, I don't care what religious attachments you have, they're all great, right? One does not exclude the other. They're just different ways of seeing. And when my clients connect to a guide, the guide will appear before them in a certain way. But that's just the way they're showing themselves to you. The same guides might show themselves quite differently if you lived in a Hindu environment. So there really are no exclusions in my mind. No spiritual leaders are excluded. One is not better than the other. But I was quite amazed when it showed up.
Well, have you checked to see if you have a past life with him?
I have checked, and I have been told that there is some connection to me in past life. Um, Perhaps a more friendly one, not a familiar one. I have been told that I was involved in that way.
Yeah.
Spirits interesting with me though, because I know that I'm not being told some of my lifetimes. I wonder if I did something just absolutely terrible and they don't want me to know. But I know that some of my lifetimes are a little bit limited. It's sort of on a need to know basis.
Yeah. Well, and you don't need to know today, but they might show you in the future. But I would guess because Jesus showed up for you and it's not somebody you were familiar or connected to, it's got to be a past life thing.
Yeah. He, I served in the Peace Corps in Hungary, and I lived near the Danube River, and he always shows up there in the same spot. And whenever he shows up, he's always like this. Stop worshiping, for goodness sakes. Let's just relax and have a good time. And he has dice, and he just rolls the dice, and he says, let's just have a good time for a while. Stop worrying. Stop stressing.
It's like relax and live.
Sorry?
Relax and live. Stop existing and start living.
That's great. Yeah. Now, I haven't cut this portion of the video of the past life regression that Deborah and I did, but there's one other portion that has to do with Jesus, which I hope to put up soon. So keep an eye out. But that's going to be some really interesting information too. It was such a great session we had. We were so clear.
Yeah, well, I've noticed they've given me an up level recently because for me to get the name of Jack the Ripper, I would not have been able to do that even 6 months ago. Something has shifted. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I know I had asked them if they could help me to connect and get the medical stuff for people because I'm very interested in natural ways of healing and homeopathics. So I talk to people about stuff a lot in that regard. And I don't have anything like a medical intuitive, but I would like to be able to tap into that. So I've mentioned that. I'm talking to this person and they're telling me about something. And all of a sudden, eustachian tubes popped into my head, which is not a word I think I've ever said before. I know what it is, but it clearly did not come from me. And so when I conveyed that, then it's like, okay, that might be what's going on because it's connected to these other symptoms. So that's exciting. Is this something new that's coming? Because I know the depth of the messages has changed. I'm getting things that like the name that I never used to get. So
and that's spirit moving you forward, right?
That's when you ask though. And also if you ask for an up level, be prepared to get one.
Yeah. Why? Was it intense?
Well, I've had some in the past that were like, whoa, I don't know if I'm ready for this. But they'll be patient. They'll give you the time to work your way through it. But expect something to happen if you ask.
Yeah, that up leveling can be quite amazing and very intense. I've had a few of those, and you kind of need a week to integrate that. It doesn't just happen alone. There's still work to do once you start getting along the way.
Yeah. Well, mine don't zap. They come over a period of time. I just start noticing things are different, and gradually more things come into my awareness.
Yeah, I've noticed a bit of. I've had quite the experience where it is very sudden, and that can be very intense. So I've had some that I need to go away and go camping for a week to sort of integrate what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I think more people are going to start having that just because of where we are in the ascension process.
Yes. Yeah. Well, as you said again in the video, I'm asking, they will show up. All you need to do is ask. You said it's as simple as breathing.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't believe that. They think it's hard, but that really is the truth when you allow. It's letting go of all those other blocks and I can'ts and must and shoulds and all of that. And ask yourself, how can I, when you hit one of those blocks? And you'll be shown a way.
You'll be shown a way. And don't hesitate to do some great reading. One book that got me started in this was Inner Work. And in Inner Work, there's sort of a Jungian process of active imagination where you sort of kind of create a character that represents your unconscious. It's not supposed to be more real. It's just a psychological process. But I realized that that psychological process helped me get beyond, oh, it's just my imagination. It's just my imagination. Because I just sort of accepted that it was imagination in the beginning, right? And then so many things were confirmed for the imagination entity that I had created. So many things were, became true that I'm like, well, wait a minute. Is this my imagination or not? If it feels like imagination, just start going with it. See how far you go. And if the next day things start to get confirmed, don't be surprised. If spirit's going to talk to you, it's going to talk to you through that portion of your unconscious that has pictures and dreams and things like that. And in the beginning, it may not be at all accurate. But if you keep going with that, whatever practice that you do, and I always recommend people get together with other people and practice whatever it is that you are doing. Get together with others because they will complement you, they will help you, they will connect you, and they will become great friends that you will really appreciate over time. So do the work and don't worry about others, what they might think of it. I wouldn't necessarily go share it with everyone what you are doing, but you'll know who to share it with. And all these contributions make a difference. The universe really is asking us to step up, to evolve in a particular way. And I'll tell you, I have also been told to be sympathetic to people who are, don't necessarily agree with me, even the Donald Trumps of the world. I have seen that they too are perfect in their own way. They were not born evil. Things happened to them that made them that way. And if you saw Trump as a child, you would have sympathy for him in the way that he was treated.
Absolutely. Sure.
There's no need to go to any kind of hatred. And that will only feed the fire. But it will always sort of stop people when you say, no, I don't hate him. I believe in these things, and that's why I am doing it. And it's always helpful to listen to the person. They're probably saying something underneath what they're saying that is very real. There are people who have been displaced, dislocated throughout the United States because of NAFTA and the social changes that occurred. They have not found their place in this world yet. And some of their upset is quite legitimate. I don't think that we should take it out on a minority of people. That clearly isn't right. But it's helpful to identify with those people and see what's really bothering them. And if possible, ask questions that help them see themselves. I never would have got that far without Dolores Cannon and without the whole Jesus connection. I never would have considered that I should stop being a little bit less righteous and connect to them. They are a reflection of us in a sense that they are requiring us to act in a better fashion.
In the soul introduction, the reading that I do, which we are going to do, there are some gifts who are very judgmental and very self-righteous. And the thing is, you've probably judged yourself for being that way and wanted to be better. But when you understand it's how you're wired and it's actually something that's there for you, it's the shadow side of your gift. And part of your journey is learning how to get that perspective, to balance
Yes.
it out with the other side of yourself. But when
Mhm.
you know that, oh, wow, it's how I'm wired, it's normal for me, it's so much easier to put it in perspective and to stop doing it.
Yes. Yeah. Have sympathy for yourself. But look, all this stuff is very emotionally triggering. And we have gone through much of our history trying to repress certain emotions. These
Oh,
are
yeah.
bad. These are bad. These are bad. So, of course, they explode because they need our attention. If you can, however, recognize your emotion and say, wow, that is a reasonable emotion to have. I'm not going to act now. I'm going to just accept that this is an okay emotion to have. And maybe I'll figure out like more details about that emotion and ask that emotion, hey, when's the first time you got really angry? You can do a lot of internal work in this process. There are some people on this political spectrum who aren't doing any of that, and they're getting themselves in a lot of trouble. Degree of self-awareness has really helped our movement. I think it has really helped Harris move into the presidential slot. And I think it's kind of amazing that the Democratic Party took a risk. They said, no, we are going to change horses now, and we are going to have a woman that's a minority. I think that went a long way in changing people's minds, that the Democratic Party was able to change. The Republican Party did not change. They doubled it down on who they already were. But the left did change. We have to find this interesting balance where we're very assertive because you just don't want to be passive and let these things happen without going into a sort of rage anger, which defeats our purpose. Keeping both of those things going at the same time, being able to move forward without that, raging anger, it really is a lot of work. And I know that most of the people watching are, including me, are like in the middle of that and just still figuring it out. But
Yeah.
hey, that's life. That's why we're here on this planet, so we can figure things like that out.
It is truly amazing. I have this feeling, though, that she's going to deal with world leaders very differently than her predecessors.
Yes.
And I'm very much looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. How do you think she will be different?
I don't think she's going to put up with the nonsense from Netanyahu or the Russian interference. I mean, we've just allowed too much of that stuff to go on unchecked.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
so detrimental. It's caused a lot of dissension between the people because some believe the lies, and look where we are.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd be glad for a politician that wasn't spending their time pointing fingers and that came up with a real solution to the problem, right? I am not willing to go one side or the other in the Middle East. There are good people all over that place, and then there's not so good people all over that place. They don't belong to one race or religion, the other. I'm interested in solutions, and I would want to know from anyone, what is your solution there? I don't know whether we will be able to enact one in our lifetimes. I don't necessarily see that happening. So the solution that we are is to listen to both sides and have sympathy for both sides and try to be reasonable and try to ask for reason. Our tax dollars are going to that region. We have a right to say how they are spent, and an obligation that before we give away those tax dollars, we know what the peaceful solution is.
Yeah, well, I, for one, am not happy that my tax dollars are going to help kill Palestinians. That is a travesty that has gone on for way too long. It needs to stop.
Yes, it's heartbreaking that our money is going to these directions, and it has for a long time. The good news is we are waking up. We are becoming conscious.
Yeah, that's the really good news.
Mm-hmm. Good. Now, were you going to you were gonna do some work now? Did you say?
Some work now?
I thought you were going to channel. So you said you were going to channel something.
Is there something you wanted to ask? I can.
No. Although
no,
I
I'm
wouldn't
just
mind
trying to
asking
kind of
questions.
monitor the comments a little bit and see if there's anything we need to attend to over there.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, if there's something you wanted to ask about, we can certainly do that. Sure.
Okay. Well, I might ask you in a minute. Take a look.
Okay. I'm going to start at the bottom, you guys. Okay. So lots of wonderful supportive comments here that thank you. We deeply appreciate that support. And your being here, that is wonderful, sharing your energy with us. That all counts. And I saw a few people were saying, I did give, but I don't have any money and I can't give anymore. And to you, please do not feel bad at all about that, because I was talking to the people who have not taken any action. If you've already given, then you've taken the action. It's the ones who hang on, they're taking what we're sharing, but they're not taking the action to contribute. And for all of us light workers coming together, taking that action, that's the important thing. That's what I'm being told. It's doing that in the larger and larger numbers that's going to make the difference. So I'm just praying that what we've done so far was large enough that it is going to make a difference. And please God, if that 330 turns out to be true, then yeah, we did it, and hallelujah, and things will change. So that's where we're going with that. I don't want anybody to feel bad. It's not about that. And I am doing a little bit of venting because I'm a little bitchy right now from lack of sleep. So take it with a grain of salt.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know about John of New. I've seen quite a few of his videos. And I met him on a Zoom call one time, which was really interesting. Thank you, Michelle. It's so beautiful. I appreciate that. Yeah, the Seth Books channel by Jane Roberts, Mary Lynn and Patricia were asking about. Oh, and thank you, Cher. She says that we are boosting the energies right now, helping it along. And I believe we are. It's really, remember, energy and intention. So just by being here, you're joining with our intention to move towards Earthtopia, creating that beautiful future, because we're ready. Earth is certainly ready for it. And a lot of people are ready too. And we have a birthday in the house. Barbara, happy birthday. So we need to schedule a date, Dave, and do that soul introduction, because that's been on my mind. I've just been a little busy in recent days. But yeah, now that this is all behind us, definitely want to do that.
Looking forward.
And I want to hear more about where you're going with your channel, because there's a big, it's like you're taking is it a hard right or a hard left? I don't know. It's kind of like you're
yeah. I'll say left. That seems like the right direction to me.
No, but well, that's an old preconceived notion. What if it's not? Because we've put labels on what we think that means.
We do. It's totally a label. And spirit would not necessarily have directions or time or any of that stuff.
Exactly.
And for my channel, I am enjoying the past life regressions. I'm happy to go in that direction, because again, it's like two people channeling. It's just fascinating. It's fascinating just for the historical references, just to talk about people living in that time in history and just to flesh out the truth of what that was like. I find that fascinating. I still really enjoy teaching people how to channel. And we sort of did a mini version today of how I do that. It would be much more detailed in a full session where you learn to channel. But the big leap for me that was made in the past year was going from channeling to trance channeling. And I have made that shift, and it's just marvelous. And the difference really is, at the beginning, I would see an image and then I would report that. It's like, okay, I'm seeing a pyramid. And then I would say, so I think it means this. But I would be interpreting things. It's going through my brain. But for trance channeling, it really is, the words are coming out of my mouth and I'm almost a bystander. It's like a stage, and I'm one of the stage hands I can stop it if I want, but I don't necessarily understand the words that I'm saying. As I am listening and I'm speaking, I am kind of elevated because the words that are being spoken out of my mouth are really kind of beyond my ability, not an ability to comprehend, but I would not be able to say it in such a succinct state. It's as it's coming out of my mouth, it's like I'm listening to a wiser person. And I'm working on a book, getting some help with a fellow named Ben, where we channel some great leaders. So far, it has been Jesus and Confucius. And when that's happening, it's just coming out of my mouth. And I have to watch the videos to see what I said because I don't know what it is. And there's no umming and no me thinking through my brain about what that could mean. It's just there. So I'd much more rather do that because I think it's very high level information and it's much more pleasurable and I'm very interested in learning. The irony of this whole situation is my political readings, the hits on those videos sometimes can get really, really high. Mm-hmm. And it's nice because it, does pay my rent when that happens. Now, videos where you're doing other types of stuff, there aren't that many really famous channelers. There's probably like 3 or 4 really that get big numbers. So it's kind of irony is that when I'm doing this kind of stuff that I think is actually more helpful for individuals for long-term growth, not nearly as many people will watch as those that are watching the political stuff. And that's not a criticism. I just think that people are so stressed. They're like, I need an answer today so I can calm down and get some sleep. I need the answers. And that's why they're tuning in. But it's kind of ironic that those numbers don't necessarily have the same benefit as just the more spiritual metaphysical work. That's really about not just now but the trajectory of your whole life. And I have changed my website so that you can either do predicting or you can do channeling. So if people make appointments and they can just say, oh, I want to meet my guides, I'd like to hear directly more about my whole life. I noticed a lot of people tend to do that now, much more than in the beginning. In the beginning, it was very much about predictions. So that's where I'm going. And we've just made the announcement that in March, I'll be working with Jen Bushman and Lita Rodriguez. We'll be doing an event in Hawaii in the middle of March.
Which island? I
think it's on Maui.
Okay.
I'm going to have to check because I didn't make all the arrangements. I'll make this announcement with Lena again tomorrow because we're going to be on live covering the election. But
will you be going to Lahaina?
Say again?
Will you be going to Lahaina where the big fire was? Do you know?
I don't think so. I may visit a few places, but I think you have to fly in an airplane. I haven't got quite those details out. But it'll be a 3-day workshop with Lena and Jen, and I will be teaching various type of things. That's sort of the next step. It's great to see people face to face. It's incredible what we can do with Zoom. But 99% of my friends, I have never actually met in the flesh. Where do you live now, Deborah?
I'm in the Poconos, Pennsylvania.
Oh, you're in Pennsylvania. Okay. Because hopefully in a year or two, we will do an event on the East Coast and I will finally meet you.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations, a book and the retreat. That's wonderful.
Yeah. We don't know how many spiritual leaders are going to come through in the book. So this could just be chapters 1 through 3. But it's very, very exciting. And it really is. When I'm done, I'm kind of astonished at the information that shows up.
Yes.
Because I don't know all that stuff. I can barely understand it. And so.
Yeah, that is really lovely. Do you find when you're in the trance channel, your vocabulary changes? There are words you would
Yes.
never have spoken? Yeah.
Yes. The words change, and I can even feel my mouth going like, trying to like almost like form the word against my will. Like I don't know where the word's going. The pace will change, right? So sometimes it can become really, really fast. Not always, but it certainly changes. Yeah, it's kind of mind blowing actually. I can't quite believe it.
Do you feel anything in your body when that's happening? Physically?
Not necessarily, but I can tell after a few hours that I get tired.
Mhm.
Like maybe after an hour and a half, like I'm like a bystander, but I'll hear spirit telling Ben, hey, he needs to stop. This is the last question. He's getting tired. And as it's almost like they're speaking for me, but I will feel it on the inside. So you can't do it for too long. You gotta stop after, I would say, max 2 hours.
Well, your body is not built to have all that energy going through you for an extended period. But I would guess over time you're going to expand and be able to do more.
I presume so. And I wonder if you do this too. It's really important to process that stuff, to do something that sort of reconnects you with the earth and stuff like that. I have this bowl that I like to ping, which really helps me. And of course, beforehand, I got to meditate. I have to be very clear before I go in this. So it's a morning it almost requires complete meditation, which I don't do for hours straight. It's like I meditate and then I go have my breakfast and I do this and then I work on my yard and then I meditate again. But I do have to have a process in place for before and after, because it is a lot of energy.
Yeah. Funny story. I haven't told you this. After we did our regression, you brought me back into my body. I felt like I was totally integrated, felt fine. I got up, I tripped over my sofa, the corner, and went flying, and I ended up breaking 2 toes. And it was like, I really felt like I was back in my body, but apparently I wasn't, because it was like, whoa, that was freaky. And it was almost like I could hear them laughing at me. You got to take more time. You got to be more present, all of that stuff. Funny.
Okay. All right. Note to self. Just make sure you give people another minute and make sure they're in their bodies, because that is the end of the regression.
Yeah.
Is I ask questions so that you can reflect on yourself. Sometimes people don't remember a thing. Usually they do. And sometimes they're like, hey, wasn't that like 10 minutes? And she'd be like, no, it was 2 hours. That's usually the case. Not exclusively, but usually. So I'm sorry about your toes, though. What do you think was the message?
Slowing down.
Yeah.
Slowing down for sure. Yeah, because a lot of pushing and things were going on. But no, I not a criticism at all. It was just really interesting to look at it from outside, that out of body perspective. It's like, I really felt it, but I think I maybe a little more focusing, being in the present, and slowing down would have made a difference. Because it's like, how often do you trip over your couch? It's there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well,
It was
the
a good
universe.
lesson. And the other thing is they're really laughing at me because it took a while for that to heal. So, when I had to wear, different shoes for a while to give the toes the space to do their thing. And it's like, so every time you feel it, you're reminded again, slow down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was getting the slow down message for a while, and then suddenly I had my appendix out. At my age, I went in for indigestion, and the next morning I walked out without an appendix. And I kept getting told, slow down, Dave, slow down. But who has time to slow down?
Yeah, it's too intense right now. But I really do feel there will be quite a shift after the election. And all of this hyper focus that so many of the tarot readers are getting, that's going to change because people won't be in such a frenzy and out of their minds
Yes.
about what's going to happen.
We'll all have a lot of time.
Yeah, I check a lot of the channels out because I'm interested too. And I notice a lot of the same people in comments show up on multiple channels asking the same question. And that's just not productive because that's indicating that you're not believing what you're getting. You're not trusting the guidance if you need to keep going and asking. So, and that's not helpful for them.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's just like Harris. Things evolve in ways that we can't predict. So sometimes I feel like I'm asking the wrong question. So I'm asking, how will Biden do in the next debate? And I'm getting an answer, which at that time I was not trans-channeling. And so I'm getting the answer, but not really, I'm applying it to the wrong questions. So, you kind of have to let things evolve, give it a little time for it to evolve, because spirit works in completely mysterious ways. It just doesn't ever happen exactly as you said, except for January 6th. That happened exactly as I saw it, but it usually does not. And so you kind of have to give it a chance to get figured out. Sometimes I've asked questions and they show me something like the person, but it's just the wrong person because I don't know who they are. Right. So looking forward to the days where we don't have to do so many political things. And I hope you all will too. I hope this is really a message for all of us to go work on our intuitive arts, go work on our soul stuff, because there is so much to be learned there. There is so much to be learned and has been learned by people really becoming themselves. And that is not following what others say, but going to your own heart, your own intuition, and going in that direction. I think we have been called. You can either sort of follow this herd, or you can start working together with the others who are questioning what's going on.
Yeah.
I think we've done very well.
We're in this big evolutionary up level right now. So you're not going to be able to stay unconscious. You really have to wake up. And let's take that word back. Woke is a good thing. You want to be asleep? Not now.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Why would that be a bad thing, woke?
Yeah.
So,
So we're at an hour and a half already, Dave. So I think what I'm going to do is look, see if there's any questions here that maybe you want to answer something or to take care of them. How are you doing for time?
Oh, I've got a few more minutes.
Okay. I normally go around 90 minutes, so this is really wonderful. And I hope everybody in chat is having a good time and are okay the fact that we're not just doing all Q&A tonight, but I thought it would be really cool to have Dave with us and do something a little different. And we will do all the Q&A on the Zoom call the third Saturday, so we'll still do that. Cher said that, Amanda said she didn't feel right all afternoon and she knew that there was a shift or a growth. Dizzy, third eye and head feeling pressure, tired, and immense love. And I think she's talking about after prayer-a-thon, so that's fabulous. I thought a lot of shifting was going on because those prayers were super powerful.
Yeah.
Did you catch any of Kahu Lahela when she was doing her ukulele and her prayer?
Just a bit of it.
It was fabulous. She did this thing at the beginning, an oli that they call it, Hawaiian chant, and she was using the tea leaf, the big green leaf with the sacred water, and it was just so beautiful. And she's also QHHT. She tells the story of how Dolores Cannon came to visit Oahu, and it's something she'd been interested in. It was like it was all set up and for her to do that, and so she got to go through the class and learn from Dolores. So that was really a fascinating story.
Wow.
Yeah, Spirit puts those things out for you, and you either accept and take action or, pass it by and then feel bad about it later. Craig, I think Ernest Hemingway would be a really cool topic. So why don't you suggest that to Helen? Because she's in charge of the list. She just tells me who we're going to talk to when I show up and we do it. And hopefully we're going to see Dave on Helen's channel soon.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm just about to connect with Helen.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, see if there's anything new down here based on what we just talked about. Oh, that's beautiful. Barbara said that Lahela's song sounded like light language. Yeah, because she did a whole prayer in Hawaiian, and then she did the conversion to English for us. Yeah, it was just beautiful. Patricia, you're so welcome. Cher, it's been perfect. Thank you. I'm so glad. Because if you feel like you didn't get what you came here for, you let me know, and I'll just throw another live in, and we'll do it. I don't want you to be feeling like you got short shrifted. Oh, I love it. Linda says, can we have a party-thon when we get through the election? It's a date, Linda. Yes,
Yeah.
let's do it. Yes, let's have a party-thon. Do you want to have a lot of people? What do you want to have? Because it'll have to be something really easy to throw together. Tell us what you want that to look like. Barbara says her cats like to get between her legs when she's going down the stairs. Oh, don't they? That is crazy. Oh, this is funny. Cher says she's going to make sure she slows down. Yes, absolutely. It's a message for all of us right now because things are, everything is speeding up as we're accelerating through our ascension. So here's something that Metatron is recommending for us. Remind yourself that you always have more than enough time. You don't want to be going around saying that you don't have enough time and you can't fit it in and you're always feeling rushed because that's what you're manifesting. So if you instead shift your mantra, I always have more than enough time for everything I want to do. And you will, time will expand to accommodate you. And it feels wonderful. When I get a little frazzled, I have to remind myself to go back and use that mantra. It changes everything. Oh, Craig's excited for his regression with Dave. Oh, thank you, Patricia. Yeah, Shelby, you made a live and you made a terrific live. How about the surprise having Dave here? That is so cool. Amanda says she's very grateful. She appreciates the metaphysical community and what they're all bringing together. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, we do it because we're passionate about it. We love it because there's no way we'd be, like I said, all the time it takes to do this. And honestly, I was talking with Alex Ferrari about this in one of our sessions that, when I started doing the YouTubes, I wasn't signing on to learn how to be a videographer. Come on. All these things you got to do and all the softwares. And I'm having an issue with StreamYard where the sound on my end sounded really great, but I noticed when I went back through with the timestamps, there were places where that audio artifacts are showing up. And there were places where it like sped up and the mouths and the sound was out of sync. I don't know what's causing that. So now you got to go check person and figure that out. So, there's a lot involved in it and
a lot of learning.
Not do it if we didn't love it. But sometimes we love it a little less. Yeah, Cher, lots of rest. I'm probably going to spend the day in bed on Wednesday. Tomorrow we got to vote. We got to do some other things. But I think Wednesday's the day just to hang out because I have not had a Netflix binge in a very long time.
And that's a celebration right there. Netflix binge, maybe some popcorn, right? Yeah, maybe go swimming or something like that.
So, it's too cold here for that. You're getting the warm stuff, but we're getting the cold stuff.
I am just getting the warm stuff. Yeah.
Just getting out to take a hike in nature would be good because I haven't had time to do that. Last week we went shopping and I was horrified to see all the leaves were gone. The trees were bare. I totally missed autumn because I was in the house doing all this work. And that was startling.
Yes, that is startling. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to go down and see if Linda gave us any feedback. Okay. Well, you guys can send it to me in email or in comments on this video. Give us some feedback. What do you want Party-thon to look like? Because, we might be able to arrange that. Nothing huge, but, we could do something fun. And I did want to do something to thank all the people who came to each of the events. I just don't know what that would look like. So we need some inspiration about that. Oscar Wilde, Amanda, that's a great idea. That would be fabulous. That's a good too. The thing when we were talking to Lincoln that really stuck out for me is the energy of compassion and dignity and a little bit of whimsical kind of attitude as well. Because, he's showing up as the ghost in the White House to people. And there's a reason for that. He's got a little sense of humor going on there. And that's always so interesting. So when you connect with people like that, do you feel that energy and
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's very emotional. Right. And Lincoln is just as you described. He is very sort of somber, but you can feel the love. It's, a little bit of a reflection of a Jesus energy too. I will say also, I actually went to Gandhi. I went to India and I went to Gandhi's the place where he lived, and I was really moved. Just looking at where he lived, I actually began to cry. And I don't cry easy. But when I connect to him, there's a little bit of that feeling too. So yes, I find it quite emotional. And I'm an American guy. I don't necessarily feel my emotions the way normal people do. So it was quite a surprise that I would have such strong feelings around people like Lincoln and Gandhi.
Mm-hmm. Well, Gandhi had such a deep well of compassion.
Yes.
You had to feel that.
Yes. Yeah, you can't not feel it, especially when you go to that place where he lived. And certainly I feel it when I'm channeling.
So you probably don't want to go to places like Gettysburg.
Nope, haven't been to Gettysburg. And I went to Auschwitz and my body completely shut down. I did not feel anything at all for days. My body just simply, it was like a wall went up around me. I was surprised that I had, it was like an absence of feeling. I think I was just being protected because I can't take that kind of energy. I wouldn't have even.
What if you had put a shield on yourself before you went in? Do you think that would have made a difference?
I think unconsciously I put it on or spirit put it on. This was before I was doing this kind of work specifically.
Oh, okay.
So many, many years ago. So I didn't consciously choose to. I didn't know what a shield was. I think universe just showed up and was like, just cocooned me the whole time. I mean, I felt a little sadness and a little bit disturbed, but mostly I felt nothing. It was all rational. It was very, very rational as I was looking at the things around me. So I think sometimes our body protects us by being rational.
Yeah. Well, and our team steps in as well when we need something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how they can do that. That somehow is a workaround for the whole free will.
Yes. Yeah.
Kind of a contradiction, isn't it? But there is, but yeah, I find that interesting. Oh my gosh, Barbara's getting her free lip reading with Beth this week. That is wonderful. That was one of the gifts that we gave away on Psychathon 2.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Oh. My friend Beth does lip readings, but it's kind of like a palm reading. It's looking at the lines and the shapes of your lip, and then you interpret that. She did one for me, and I could not believe what she came up with. Yeah. It was astonishing. And who would know that would come from your lips?
Who would have thought?
Yeah. And there are only like 10 people in the world certified to do this, and Beth is one of them. Wow. So it's a super gift that you got, Barbara. Happy for you. Yeah, Craig says he avoids the battlefields and the burial grounds. I want to go. So I will have to make a point of putting the shield on before I go. Because Gettysburg is only a couple hours away from me, maybe 3. And it's someplace I'm feeling drawn to. I want to go and sit in that energy and just see, because it feels like there's a story that wants to come out from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Dave, if we did a party-thon, what would that look like to you? What's your imagination?
Well, I don't know. It seems like it would be just a short hooray, hooray. Like we not necessarily do it for too long, but maybe a party-a-thon might be one where you just say, "Hey, what's next?" And maybe we just channel a little bit about what's next. What do we need to do? How do we need to evolve next? Maybe there would be some political prediction in there, but maybe it would be more about the new Earth and how we should change ourselves to move into the future. You can change yourself. That's something you have total control over.
Yeah. Now, do you know Marianne? Are you connected to her?
I don't know her personally. I watch her show, but I don't know her.
Because, she made us a special recording for Psychathon 1. Even though she's quite ill, she wasn't able to be live because of her illness, but she graciously made us a 40-minute video.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so it would be nice. I want to somehow thank these people, It was huge for them to take the chance and to be with us.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
and you, of course, you showed up.
Sure. Yeah.
I sent emails to over 40 different readers that I knew about or that were recommended to me. And, we ended up, I think, 20? Because a lot of people either don't get the message, they get too overwhelmed with email, or, maybe they don't know who you are and they're just not interested. Who knows? It could be so many reasons. But I was just so moved by those who did answer and say, yeah, I'm in. Let's do this.
A lot of people did.
Whimsy was in, I think it was Switzerland when she got the email, and she sent back immediately, I'm in. I just love that. That attitude is such a blessing. And Sheila was in, but at least I knew Sheila, so that was something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess I should let you go. We could talk all night, but I should let you go.
Good.
Very late where you are, I know.
Well, it's actually the middle of the day.
Oh, it is? I thought it was late.
Yeah, it's late on your side. Yeah,
okay.
Today it's the afternoon. But
it's only 11:20 here. That's early for me.
Oh, wow, really? Well, yeah, but I'm ready to go swimming.
Awesome. Well, you go swimming. Have a great time. Thank you so much, Dave. I so appreciate you.
Hey, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for all the great work you guys are doing.
Yeah. All right. We will see you soon.
Looking forward to that. Take care, Deborah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So everybody in chat, we're signing off. You got any last things you want to say before we go? Any last messages before Yeah. Jean, you'll come. Oh, Harp Fiddler, you came through, Marianne. That is awesome. Oh, Linda, that's so cool. I don't know, probably better weather, but it's just something on my list that I feel needs to be done. Betty, you have battlefields in Murfreesboro and Franklin. I probably studied that in history, but it wasn't front of mind. So yeah, we'll see how it goes when I go to Gettysburg, and that might be something that takes further exploration. Hey, Marby, great to see you. All right, so I'm going to let you guys go. I will go through later and read all of your comments, and we'll respond to you, if there's something that needs a follow-up. So meanwhile, love and blessings to everybody. If you haven't voted, I hope you're going to vote tomorrow. And remember, the donation link is at the top. It's, the pinned comment. If you have not yet contributed and you want to put your stamp on this election, the energy, the intention, please do that now. Get that done, because the more of us who do, the better our chances. And let's hold on to that vision of 330 electoral votes. Oh my gosh, that would be so amazing. I think that could change everything. It's very exciting. I might not be able to sleep tonight thinking about that. Okay, everybody, I love you. I appreciate you, and I will see you all soon. Much love.